Welcome to the Boxcryptor webinar today. My name is Philip. I'm a technical sales manager for Boxcryptor, and I'm your host today. So topic today is, of course, Boxcryptor and Boxcryptor for Teams. So I will show you some insights and a demo of Boxcryptor, how it works. I will start with the new Boxcryptor Microsoft Teams integration. I think most of you are interested to see this. After that, I will show you just how Boxcryptor works on desktop clients. That means how to encrypt your OneDrive, your Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever cloud storage or even whatever storage you want to use. And later, I will just show you a little bit of an overview of our administration panel and how to manage a Boxcryptor company or a Boxcryptor organization. If you have questions, please use the chat or the Q&A functionality. And yeah, please feel free to ask any question anytime. I will do my best to answer it right away. So let me share my screen now. And yes, of course, starting point always is boxcryptor.com. And if you are interested in checking out Boxcryptor after that webinar, just go to boxcryptor.com product, and on the For Teams side, you will find the button to start your free trial. The free trial is limited to 14 days, but all the features are available. You can test Microsoft Teams integration, test the desktop application. There are no limitations on features. Before I start with the Microsoft Teams integration, just one info for you. If you scroll down to the very bottom of our website, you will find the help and FAQ pages here. They are great. You will find answer to most of your questions. But just in regards of the Microsoft Teams integration, here on the left side, scroll a little bit down, you come to Teams, and then you will find Microsoft Teams. Boxcryptor is an app within Microsoft Teams, and you have to upload the Boxcryptor app package here. So we decided to not show the Boxcryptor app for every Microsoft Teams user. So you as an administrator, you have to upload the Boxcryptor app package to the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. And after that, all of your users can install Boxcryptor. And well, if you need any assistance, any help with setting up Boxcryptor and Boxcryptor, especially for Microsoft Teams, just send me an email or just send an email to our support at support@boxcryptor.com, and we will be happy to assist you. So I will just go into my Microsoft Teams client, and first thing to do is you can ignore the Boxcryptor logos here. We will start with installing the Boxcryptor app. So I think this will be nothing new for you. Here, the three dot menu point, you can search for Boxcryptor. Of course, here are many of our Boxcryptors. We are testing different app versions here in our tenant, and your users will only find here the Boxcryptor with no extension, nothing experimental or something, just Boxcryptor. And oh, one thing I will just quickly, give me 1 second. I will just quickly change my Microsoft to English because somehow it doesn't take the language of my client here, of my Windows client. 1 second, please. Okay, just a quick restart. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, now we are back with an English client. Okay, three dot menu. We are searching for Boxcryptor, and we will check out Boxcryptor, the regular version. And once again, if you have questions, just use the chat or the Q&A functionality. So in the first, after installing Boxcryptor, of course, you have to sign in with your Boxcryptor account. So make sure you have a Boxcryptor account. If not, go back to boxcryptor.com and sign up for an account. Or if you have the Boxcryptor company trial, create an account for your colleagues. I will show you later how to do that. One thing is a little bit different here with my account. We are using single sign-on here. So normally, after entering your email address, you will need your Boxcryptor password. So in our setup here, we have single sign-on, and that means I don't have to enter an additional Boxcryptor password. If you are interested in single sign-on with Boxcryptor, it's available for our enterprise license. And yeah, if you need any information, any help there, just send me an email. So the first, within the Boxcryptor app was just one more convenient way to access your files, encrypted or not encrypted files, in your personal OneDrive. We will later, when I show you the desktop application of Boxcryptor, we will see these folders again. As I said, they are in my personal OneDrive. Here you can see just that they are encrypted. However, of course, interesting part is when I go and use Boxcryptor within a Microsoft team. Within the settings, just to show you what is possible with Boxcryptor, of course, Boxcryptor encrypts the content of a file, so the actual file, but you can also use Boxcryptor and use the option to encrypt the file names. So this is possible. Sometimes, for example, at the HR department, it's necessary to encrypt the file names too, because of course, it's a cancellation of a contract with Phil Wittek, in my example. I don't need to know the content of the file, just the file name is enough for me. So yeah, in case you need the file name encryption. You can also enforce file name encryption with policies. I will show you later how to set up Boxcryptor policies in your organization. Okay, so within that Boxcryptor app, just one more convenient way to access your personal OneDrive files, and I will now show you how to set up Boxcryptor within a team. I will create a blank or new team. However, you can use Boxcryptor, of course, with already existing teams. I will start one team from scratch, but once Teams is done with loading the templates, yes, you can see I was experimenting with templates. So Boxcryptor is used within a tab or a tab in a team, and you can add that Boxcryptor tab automatically using templates. So if you familiar with Microsoft Teams, you can set up templates, or you can add Boxcryptor tab to your default template in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. But I will just do it from scratch here. And we will call the webinar N and who. Let's just call it April. Yes. So brand new team. But as I said, it doesn't matter if you're using an already existing team. The only thing we have to do now is to add Boxcryptor as a tab. And this has only to be done once by one person who has the general Teams permission to do so, or well, basically someone who wants to work with Boxcryptor. So add a tab here. And now you will see that we have the option to add the Boxcryptor tab here. And we will edit. Awesome. Okay, everything's working fine. Earlier this day, I had some issues with Microsoft Teams. Not an issue with Boxcryptor, but Teams had some issues creating new tabs. But everything is fine. Awesome. Okay. So the concept of Boxcryptor doesn't matter if we are within the Microsoft Teams app or if we are on the desktop. Is the following: the actual physical files are still uploaded to your cloud storage or with Microsoft Teams on SharePoint Online. Imagine or just think of Boxcryptor as a second layer, and everything that is uploaded via Boxcryptor is encrypted locally with an end-to-end encryption, encrypted locally, and after that uploaded to the actual file storage. So in this case, in Microsoft Teams, to SharePoint Online. So let me show you how I do it. We are now within Teams, within the Boxcryptor tab here. And yes, this folder is empty, of course. It's a new folder. And we have that upload button here. But of course, you can drag and drop. But yeah, I will use the upload button here. And here in my documents folder, I have some dummy files. And for example, this, just a Boxcryptor best practice guide. I can now upload it. And the file gets now encrypted locally in your Microsoft Teams client. And after being encrypted, it gets uploaded to SharePoint Online. As you can see, the file is now here accessible. Status is encrypted. And we can get a preview. And of course, everybody else who has permission to do so, who's member of the team, that means member of the team means access to the physical files. The second one is having Boxcryptor permissions, cryptographic permissions to do so, can now access these uploaded files. The actual physical file, if you go to the Files tab, which is per default in a team, we will find an app data folder that was just created. It was created by Boxcryptor on the first creation of the Boxcryptor tab. There's another folder here, but if we click here, yes, we can see the file I uploaded here, .pdf.bc. So it's not the actual PDF file uploaded, but the encrypted .bc file. So if someone, Microsoft Corporation, or someone who just get access to the physical files, he can't use the file. The file is encrypted, and you need Boxcryptor for Teams, or also for Microsoft Teams, or the desktop client to access that file if you have the permission to do so. So one way to upload files is just using the Boxcryptor tab here. And of course, we have some more file operations, create folders, for example, like this one. I can say this is like a sensitive files, for example. You can create folders here. The folder is marked as encrypted, so everything that's uploaded in this folder gets also encrypted. Yes, we added bulk operations last week, so we're adding more and more features every week. But of course, you want to share encrypted files within the chat. So if you go to posts now, new conversation, you can now see the little Boxcryptor icon here. So if you, of course, you just want to share some file, let's say you are in the HR department, and you just want to share some files, some sensitive files, of course, that's where you want to encrypt them. Just click the Boxcryptor icon here. You can upload up to 4 different files. The file size, it's just, we take the settings from Microsoft Teams. So I think per default, it's 250 megabytes. But yeah, if you change something there, we will just take that one. And yes, I will take that picture here, but you can basically upload anything you want. Once again, the files are encrypted before being uploaded. So once again, encrypted within your local Teams client, uploaded to SharePoint. Now I can say, well, look at that image. It's encrypted. Okay, and send it. So now everybody who has the permission to do so can open that file or get a preview of that file. Currently, we can't preview Office files. However, just earlier this day, our CTO, Robert Freudenreich, he told me that we will implement the feature of getting previews of Office files, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, will be available next week. And that's, that graphic here shows the single sign-on setup with Boxcryptor. So if you're interested in single sign-on with Boxcryptor, you can, of course, send me an email or just, sales@boxcryptor.com. Okay, everybody, I hope well, I can show you one more thing, one pretty interesting thing. Just one more information for you. Currently, Boxcryptor for Microsoft Teams is not available in the one-on-one chats, but it's also a feature we will make available in the next, hopefully next weeks, but let's say maybe in May or June, just to be on the safe side here. If you want to edit specific files. So for us, everything is being encrypted locally on the device. So currently it is not possible to edit an Office file, for example, within Microsoft Teams. So we have to go another step, and that's syncing SharePoint Online here, the Teams, into our local OneDrive. This can be done on 2 ways. So the common you probably know is going to the Files tab and clicking the Sync button here. And you can also use the Sync button within the Boxcryptor tab. We have one here on the right side. After, if you sync that, Boxcryptor, the local client, will automatically detect that we have synced a SharePoint online from Teams and will automatically provide it as an Boxcryptor location. So we will now switch from the Microsoft Teams integration onto the desktop app. So here on my bottom, where is the Boxcryptor app? And if I double click it, Microsoft the Explorer will pop up, and that's the virtual Boxcryptor drive. And within the virtual Boxcryptor drive, you can access all of your different locations like cloud storages, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive. I have a SharePoint synced here. And because I was syncing, I was using that syncing button here. I have now the Teams location available. So if you want to work with any file and the file is uploaded to OneDrive or whatever, you want to have that file encrypted automatically by Boxcryptor. You are not accessing OneDrive directly, but you're using the virtual Boxcryptor drive. And after that, you are going into your cloud storage. And within the storage, everything is done automatically. Just to stay in the same here, that's the webinar Teams I created, I synced, and within that we have the general group or the general channel, sorry. This one, general here, and here are the same files I just uploaded and also the same folder. So everything I do here is now automatically synced by OneDrive into my Teams, and the same, if I upload something to Teams, it gets synced here on my local client. And of course, I can now, for example, create a Microsoft Word document, important contract, for example, little sync icon here, but I was creating it in an already encrypted folder. So this file here, once it's done syncing, we will see the green icon. The green icon indicates it's an encrypted document. Okay, OneDrive still, okay, no, still syncing. Let's wait a second. But we can now, for example, write text here. Exactly. Everything you do here is just, as you know it, the difference, the physical file here, that physical Word document is always encrypted. I can just quick save, and now it gets uploaded and synced. And I can always, one second, let's wait a little bit until sync is done. And once it's done, we will see it pop up here. And of course, also the physical encrypted file within the files folder here. We just have to wait. Now. Okay, syncing done on that side, and we see the green rectangle here. And now a little bit more, waiting until it's available in Microsoft Teams. Okay, yes, here it is, important contract, .bc, that means encrypted. We can't access if we try to open the document here, not possible. But if you go to Boxcryptor, to the Boxcryptor tab within Microsoft Teams, you can now see that it's available here, and not yet. Takes a little bit until Boxcryptor. Exactly, here it is. And as I said, next week we will be able to give you a preview of that file here. That was our the integration from Microsoft Teams into our desktop client. And now I can show you the concept of Boxcryptor if we are using the OneDrive here. Just one more word or a few more words about the Boxcryptor locations here. As you can see, I'm using Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive. Most of them are automatically detected by Boxcryptor. So yeah, just the major ones, I think more when 30 plus storages are detected automatically. If we right click the Boxcryptor icon here, you can go to settings and locations is here. You can see that also Boxcryptor detected a network share here and didn't activate it. That's a setting I have here on my local device, but you can of course use Boxcryptor not just to encrypt cloud storages, but also to encrypt network shares or USB drives, whatever you want. And using that add button here, let's say Boxcryptor doesn't detect some maybe outdated client of a cloud storage, or you just want to add some local folder, some local hard drive, you can do that. Just select it using the add button here. Within a Boxcryptor, as I said, everything is done just as you are used to it. So within the OneDrive, I have some dummy folders here, management, controlling, human resources, for example. And of course, you see that management, controlling have that green rectangle here, indicates these are encrypted folders, and also the content of the folders are encrypted. And human resources, for example, is not encrypted. I will show you how we can encrypt it later. Just for your understanding, we will take a look at the actual physical files. So anytime you are working within the Boxcryptor drive, you can right-click any folder, Boxcryptor, and where's the Show Original in OneDrive Secomba GmbH, or Show Original in option. If you click it, we open an Explorer window, and let me just make it a little bit nicer. Okay. And what we can see here is, well, number one, within that Boxcryptor client, I have the file name encryption enabled. And that means, for example, that management folder is encrypted with file name encryption. And let me just to identify, okay, this one. So you see when I click right click, show original one, it gets pre-selected. So I can now say, okay, this management folder is actually this one. And on the right side, we see the physical files that are on your computer that are uploaded to OneDrive. And on the left side, the on-the-fly encryption and decryption of Boxcryptor. So it doesn't matter which file I open, for example, this calculation file, Boxcryptor automatically decrypts that file. If we want to exit it, we can edit it here, save and close. Now you can see here on the right side, a little sync button. I think it was a little bit fast, but yes, after saving the file, Boxcryptor encrypts the file again, and only the encrypted file gets synced to the cloud storage. So no unencrypted files ever leave your device with Boxcryptor. And of course, for example, we have a video file here. So also with big files, video files, media files, construction files, whatever, the real-time encryption and decryption of Boxcryptor is really performant. So let's go back and let's just double check. I go to settings here, security, and yes, I will enable file name encryption again. So I was encrypting these folders before on another device. Of course, syncing is available on all devices with file name encryption, and this is a fresh install here, so I will just enable it again. So now two use cases. The first one, of course, you already have files uploaded to OneDrive, to whatever cloud storage provider you are using, and you want to encrypt it. And first thing we will do, and afterwards I will show you how to use Boxcryptor to encrypt files even before they are uploaded. So just drag and drop. So first thing, human resources folder here. We see this one on the right side too. So both are not encrypted. Of course, here on the right side, physical files not encrypted. So also you can just use Boxcryptor to access these unencrypted files. If you want to encrypt them, nothing easier than that. Select the folder, right click, Boxcryptor encrypt. That works for folders, single files, whatever. Okay, just right-click Boxcryptor encrypt. Boxcryptor asks you to close all open files. Okay, and the encryption is done. And here on the right side, we can see that the new folder, of course, with file name encryption, is syncing now. And 1 second, yes, and the human resources encrypted here. So if you encrypt something after it was uploaded, we just add the underscore encrypted here, and you can of course rename it. It's just a little bit more convenient if we add it if you encrypt it afterwards. So, and we now see the same folder, the same files here that were previously unencrypted are now encrypted, and of course we can use that file with the encryption and with the on-the-fly decryption from Boxcryptor. If we want to move some files into the cloud and make sure that these files are never uploaded unencrypted, we can just use Boxcryptor. And the easiest way, just drag and drop, but it doesn't matter if you're using a command line interface, if you are drag and dropping, copy and paste, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you are copying it into the OneDrive or into the cloud storage provider using the Boxcryptor virtual drive here. So here on the right side, I will just go to my documents folder, and I have the R&D folder here, which is not encrypted. It's only locally, so it doesn't matter where it is. It's locally on your device or it's on some network drive. Doesn't matter. You can just drag and drop it into the Boxcryptor virtual drive to the location you want it to have. And Boxcryptor asks you, do you want to encrypt or not encrypt? We want to encrypt. And now the encrypted file, as you can see here, is uploaded to SharePoint. And if you want to see which one it is, right-click Boxcryptor, show original in OneDrive, this folder it was. And now, yeah, nobody, not Microsoft, nobody was able to get the content of the files. It was uploaded before, sorry, it was encrypted before being uploaded. If you want to work, we can close this one. If you want to work with encrypted files with your colleagues, your team, very easy. So let's take that, maybe that human resources folder. And if we right click on it, Boxcryptor, we have the manage permission here. Of course, the first thing to do is to get your colleagues the physical access to that folder. That is done via OneDrive. So you have to share the physical folder with your team. Make sure they have access to it. If you're doing that before giving Boxcryptor permission, of course, you remember Boxcryptor show original one, your colleagues will have some encrypted folder in the OneDrive and they can't use it. So we need, of course, Boxcryptor, and we need the Boxcryptor permissions to access that file. Right click within the Boxcryptor drive on the folder, Boxcryptor manage permissions. You can see now, I was the person who was encrypting the folder, so the only person who has access to that folder and to that files from a cryptographic point is me, and I can now add a group or add a user. Of course, add multiple groups, multiple users. And yeah, I will just use group, and with the groups we have, I will just take the test group here. Okay, click apply. Make sure all open files are closed. And now, yeah, we are adding the keys of the test, or the key of the test group to that folder. Of course, you can add single users, but my recommendation is to always use groups. Every time you add or every time you remove a permission, doesn't matter if it's a group permission or user permission, the user key or the group key gets added or removed from all the files. So every time you add a single user, all the files get added with a new key, new syncing process, etc. If you are using only one group, for example, in this case, the test group, of course, the group key gets added, but what happens inside of the group, user gets added, user gets removed, doesn't matter, the group key stays the same. So you don't have that permanent resyncing, re-adding of keys and resyncing, with adding single users and removing single users. So my recommendation, always try to use in groups working with permissions. Another way of sharing files or sharing encrypted files, more like with users that don't have Boxcryptor, that maybe don't want to have another service, we don't want to install a client, and we don't want to have a Boxcryptor account, is using Whispery. Whispery is developed by us, and it's also in the license. Yeah, it's just a service from us. And yeah, the goal is to have the end-to-end encryption, zero knowledge encryption, of course, from Boxcryptor, however, without the need of having a client. And if you want to work with somebody on files, of course, my recommendation is that he has Boxcryptor, just very convenient to work within the desktop. However, if you just want to share a sensitive file, an encrypted file, Whispery is the way to go. Whispery is integrated into Boxcryptor. So let's just take that file here, right-click Boxcryptor, and you see the create Whispery link. And Whispery offers you the same encryption as Boxcryptor, however, browser or web-based. And as I said, it's my I have a fresh install here. So the first thing you have to do once is to give Whispery permission to access the OneDrive, because just like Boxcryptor, we are not hosting any files, and also Whispery is not hosting any files. The files are uploaded to OneDrive. So let me just do it once. So that's just something you have to do once, and I have to get my password. Okay. And now let me just make sure that this one is here. Okay. And now the file gets uploaded, and exactly Whispery opens up here on my browser window. Exactly. And that's the file we uploaded, the client's file. And yes, we are away from the desktop. We are here now in my browser window, Whispery. Proceed. And you can set some sharing options. For example, does that link expires, or is it a one-time download or not? And so of course, if you have some compliance rules, yeah, you can use these. On the next step, we set the security level. All security levels are end-to-end encrypted. And however, you can also add a PIN or a password just for an extra security. Let's say some people have access to the exchange server of a person you are sending the link to, and they get the link you're sending them. Of course, they can access the file. And so using link and PIN or link or password can just increase the security. Just use link and PIN here. And now you get the Whispery link. This link can be sent using whatever, email, of course, also via Teams. Let's just open a private window just to make it so. Okay, so you are now sending on the right side here the Whispery link, let's say via email. And of course, you are a IT security professional. You are using a second secure channel, phone or whatever, to send the person the PIN 4165. And now the person receiving that link, that file, can click unlock now. Sorry, 4165. Okay, this one. And gets a preview which file it is. If I click download now, pretty small file, so it will happen fast. If I click download now, within the browser window, the file gets downloaded, decrypted, and then is made available to download on the local device. So it's an end-to-end encryption, and the decryption takes place within your local browser. So if you click download now, yeah, pretty fast. First download, after that decryption, and when it's made here available. So clients that are using Whispery in combination with Boxcryptor are well, many of them are, for example, lawyers or doctors that are using Boxcryptor, and they are sharing files with their clients. So if you ever just want to share a file end-to-end encrypted with somebody outside of your organization, somebody who doesn't need Boxcryptor or doesn't have Boxcryptor, Whispery is the way to go. And it's all in the license, so you can use Whispery with your Boxcryptor license. Okay, any questions to Boxcryptor here on the desktop or Whispery? Because I will now just show you how to use, or just a little overview of my of the Boxcryptor administration panel. But I will be available later too. So if you have any questions later, just feel free to ask them. So let's go to boxcryptor.com. So hopefully, maybe some of you during my my little presentation here, you already signed up here for the free trial. If not, you can do it now or do it later. But signing up for the free trial will get you here into the Boxcryptor web app or in the web view. Interesting question. Yeah, I will just read it out loud. What about metadata of files? We are not encrypting metadata of files. So for example, if you are adding, let me just set it up here. The timestamp, for example. So basically the only metadata we encrypt is the file name. But if you add tags or if you add timestamp, size, all that is not encrypted by Boxcryptor. It's, well, it wasn't like a decision to not encrypt it, but it was the integration of Boxcryptor, the integration using the Boxcryptor drive here. It's just very, works very well with all other applications, and encrypting metadata would probably destroy that, that integration, yes. So Boxcryptor encrypts the content of the file itself, and optional the file name, but no other metadata. Also no file creator names. Is this something that is important for you or for your company? But currently no plans, but maybe it changes with your use case. So I don't think that is something that is totally off the table, but yeah, we have no plans to, for example, encrypt creator names. Okay, administration panel. So on the bottom, on the top right here, the sign in button, and you can now sign in with your Boxcryptor account. Oh, perfect. Yeah. The question, what setting can be managed from the admin side? I will show you I will show it to you now, but we can manage the master key, most important feature probably for the company, master key, users, groups, policies, and also activities. And just for your understanding, I was using here on my local device, I was using my personal account, but now I will switch to a admin dummy account. So just you are not wondering why is my account here, or why are some of the settings not applied to my desktop here. John Doe is my dummy. So the Boxcryptor passwords, pretty important. We are a zero knowledge company. So if you set up your Boxcryptor account, please make sure that you remember your Boxcryptor password. We can't reset your Boxcryptor password. We can reset your account. Resetting your account, or you can do it yourself. But resetting your account means, that's here, means you lose access to all encrypted files. So please make sure you remember your Boxcryptor password. For companies, we have the master key. So the master key is your, just for your convenience. And the Boxcryptor master key can help you decrypt all of your users' files. But please remember your master key password and remember your Boxcryptor password. But no worries, if you sign up for Boxcryptor, we will give a lot of warnings that we are a true zero knowledge company. Yeah, so just please make sure remember your password. or of course use a password manager. On the first sign in here, you see that the green layout here, that means we are within the personal account overview. John Doe is an administrator, so you can see manage organization here, but everything except manage organization is also visible for regular users. Just here's some account informations. Hopefully you sign up for our newsletter. We will always share important and interesting news. No more ads, just product updates, security industry news, and Boxcryptor news. If you do know your password, of course, you can change your password. It's totally possible. Just make sure you know your old password. We do support two-factor authentication. We do support all major standards. Authenticator app, TOTP, security keys. We do have a cooperation with YubiKey, which are well, famous for the YubiKey, the security key. We can also set on a policy later. So this is personal account, personal management of my personal two-factor authentication, but we can set an organization-wide policy, for example, to force the use of a two-factor authentication. Next one, groups. Once again, green layout means personal groups. These are the groups John Doe is member of, and John Doe can, for example, rename, delete, leave. You can also create groups, and everything here can also be managed using policies. You can manage our users or which users are allowed to create groups. Are users allowed to leave a group, to delete a group after we created it? So all of that can be managed using policies. Next one, devices. So currently no device, no physical device here signed in, but you can also remove devices. Removing devices means within a few seconds, 5 or something, the account gets locked out from a device, and if somebody has access to that device, he would also lose the option to decrypt or the option to access these files. And yes, my current Firefox session here. Yeah, once again, I previously said it, if you, what's the German side? If you ever need help, of course, you can send us an email. However, our help pages are very, very good. We also offer our chat here if available. So if you're looking for some options, some configurations, yeah, my tip is just to look at that box of the help pages. But if you need more help, just send me an email or use the contact support here. You can, of course, write an email to support@boxcryptor.com. But if you are using that support ticket system here, if you are an administrator of a company, it will be prioritized. So my recommendation, use contact support here. Two important things here at the advanced tab, export keys and delete account. Boxcryptor is software as a service, and but we give you the full, so you can always export your keys. And after exporting the keys, you can, for example, use Boxcryptor without connection to the Boxcryptor servers. With some downcomings, for example, of course, if you're using a local account, permission management is not possible, and also you manually have to import the keys on every device. So as I said, Boxcryptor is zero knowledge, so you don't need to export your keys. But if it's, for example, compliance, you can, of course, always export your keys. Deleting your account is also tough. Deleting your account actually means we are also deleting your keys that are on our servers. So if you ever want to delete your account, please make sure to export your keys before. And also we will, when we click on Manage Organization, as an administrator, you also have the option to disable or deactivate or delete an account. And also, we have a lot of warnings. If you try to delete the account, our recommendation is always to deactivate an account, not to delete it. But as I said, deleting account means deleting the keys, and disabling is yeah, just fine. Okay, we'll now click here on Manage Organization. So we will go now into the organization management. And we are switching now from green to blue. It's just, yeah, always, if you're looking for a feature and you don't find it, just check if it's blue, you are in the organization tab. If not, you're in the personal tab. The first thing that comes up, the most important feature, probably the master key. So the master key allows you to reset your user passwords, manage all groups, and decrypt all of your users' files. So it's pretty important, the master key. And I would also recommend that, well, of course, depends on the structure of your organization, but it can be good to split up the knowledge of the master key password upon multiple persons. You should, of course, set up the master key first, but you can also do it later. If you set up the master key later, all your already added users, they get signed out from every device, have to sign in back and enter a new password that the master key applies to the new keys. So my recommendation, if you're ever testing Boxcryptor or using Boxcryptor, set up the master key first, and my recommendation. It's done very fast, so setting up a master key, we can do it now, why not? I will enter my personal account password here, and after that I have to set up enter my master key password. And once again, you can read it here. Since Boxcryptor is a zero knowledge service, we do not have access to your master key password. Therefore, it is not possible to reset your master key password if you forget it. Please make sure remember your master key, put it in a, I don't know, a safe or whatever, but just make sure that you will never forget your master key password. Okay. And pretty important step, but as you see, it takes you less than 1 minute to set up the Boxcryptor master key. Okay, so now it's active, and if I add more users and these users encrypt files, a user of your company, he forgets his password or he leaves the company and leaves some encrypted files, you can just use the master key. The process of using the master key is described in the help pages, pretty easy. You need physical access to the files, and when we use the master key, so it's pretty easy to use, but very, very important. Next step is setting up users, onboarding users. So the easiest, but of course it isn't good if you're adding 100 of users, is just to use the add button here, adding a user using his email address. If you add a user, the user will get an automatic email with a temporary password. Sorry, no, the email doesn't contain the temporary password. You have to send it to him, because at no point is it possible for us that we can send an email with a password. So yeah, so pretty important. Once again, sorry, my fault. The user will get an email with a sign up link, but the temporary password has to be provided by you. And sorry, much faster, you can use a user directory, LDAP, Active Directory, and we are a Dropbox Premier partner, so you can also set up Boxcryptor with Dropbox Business. You can also sync groups here, that's also possible. And for our enterprise users or enterprise clients, you can use single sign-on with Boxcryptor. Groups, as I said, can be synced with a user directory or with an IDP, but you can also manually create groups. Your users can manually create groups. Everything is possible here. Groups are not only very important, I said it before, using for the permission management, but they can also be used for the policies, which is next point here, policies. So policies are the best way to, well, customize Boxcryptor and also make sure that all of your requirements are met by Boxcryptor. We'll just delete, let me just delete these previously too. Of course, you can delete all of your policies, and I will just give you an overview of all the policies we have. If you ever need one specific policy, you're missing something, just send us an email, send me an email, and we will make sure if it's possible for us to add this policy. For example, the auditing retention period policy, which deletes, you can click it, it deletes the audits in a specific time range. We have a customer from a very controlled market, and they asked us to implement this feature. So it is live since yesterday. It's a pretty new policy, but yeah, maybe I can just show you how to set it up. So you can, most of the policies, some don't have any input. This one has an input in months. I can say if I want to have the audits deleted after 6 months, yeah, I just enter the 6. This is the same for all of the policies. You can apply it to all current and future users. You can apply it to all current and future users except selected ones, and apply only to selected users. So auditing retention period, maybe it should be applied to everybody except the administration. In this case, we only have John Doe here, but we can always accept single users, and pretty easy. Now the policy is set up here. What else do we have? Well, of course, you can restrict the access to the Boxcryptor accounts, to IP addresses or countries. We have the accounts here. You can allow an account reset. Per default, it's not allowed, but if you want to, if you have a very big, very many users and you don't want to use the master key for every single user, you can allow it. Some of our education clients, big colleges and universities, they are allowing an account reset, but they also offer the master key functionality for the students, for example. So something you can keep in mind. You can completely disable auditing, and my recommendation is to disallow the key export for all users except management, IT administration, for example. You can force or disallow or require or disallow the use of two-factor authentication. The license, Boxcryptor company license, yeah, you can use as many devices as you want to. Every of your users can use as many as you want to, but well, maybe you want to limit the usage, and it can be set here. I already showed you the file name encryption, and maybe I will open it again, 1 second. Maybe you saw one of the disadvantages of the file name encryption. And this is, if you show the original file here, yes, we have enabled file name encryption. We have trouble to identify physical files. Of course, we have the Boxcryptor drive here, so we always see the decrypted file names. But let's say some user is deleting one specific file and you want to use the OneDrive functionality to revert that or to bring that file back. Now you have the issue, everything is encrypted, every file name is encrypted. So this is one of the disadvantages, or probably the only disadvantage of file name encryption. So if you don't want this to happen, you can disallow file name encryption. Or if you have some special group, maybe HR department is one of the best examples that requires a file name encryption all the time. So you can force it using a policy. Require encryption policy is, let me show you the following. I am now within the Boxcryptor drive on the in my OneDrive, and the OneDrive itself, let's call it a folder, is not marked as encrypted. So everything, for example, if I go to the management folder here and I create a file, because the management folder itself is marked as encrypted, everything I create here or move here is automatically encrypted by Boxcryptor. Let's wait for the sync, and we will see that this file is now encrypted. Or we just look, you can trust me, or we can show the original. Yeah, so everything is here encrypted, syncing is all in the process. But if we create a folder or a file in a not encrypted folder, like the root folder here, new folder, Boxcryptor will ask me, do you want to encrypt or not? Do you want to encrypt, encrypt, do not encrypt. So I could possibly say do not encrypt, Well, important files, and I upload important files unencrypted and they get synced to OneDrive. If you set the require encryption policy, this context menu, encrypt or don't encrypt, doesn't appear anymore. Everything you upload is automatically encrypted. No option to disable the encryption via the Boxcryptor drive. So maybe also one of the policies that can be activated for special groups. Next one is Whispery. I gave you a little demo of Whispery, and of course you can disable Whispery if you don't want to use it. The next two groups, groups and permissions are, first of all, the groups is just what are your users allowed to do with groups? Are they allowed to create groups, join groups, or leave groups? And although just the same process here, disallow permission modification, so you can just control how your users are working with permissions on encrypted files and also groups. Locations, so locations, right-click here on Boxcryptor, settings, locations. Locations are just my the storages, cloud storage or whatever else. And one of the interesting ones is require locations. And why it is special, you can specify the platform, Windows for example, and set a custom location. And here you can add any path you want. So for example, I could say that's my NAS, and I have within my NAS the folder management. Okay. And if I say add location, I can add multiple locations, of course. And now on next, I could, for example, say apply to all, apply only to selected users and select the group management. So now the group management automatically has that folder on my NAS management in their Boxcryptor drive. It's a pretty convenient feature in my opinion. And let me just see, I think that was, almost, okay. Password, the minimum password length is 8 per default with Boxcryptor. You can, of course, increase it. And another pretty interesting option is to disable remember password. Normally, if you sign in with Boxcryptor and you shut down your computer, you boot it up again, your account is still logged in. And if you want that every time the device restarts or starts, the user has to enter his password, you set the disable remember password policy here. So last one are activities. We can't log activities that happen on the actual physical files. However, we log all activities that have to do something with the Boxcryptor organization and the Boxcryptor users. Just a little overview: created accounts, deleted accounts, what happens with policies, groups, if a group is deleted, created. So everything here can be logged, and of course you can export these logs for your data privacy officer, for example. And as I showed you in the policies, you can disable the audits, and you can also delete these audits after a certain time. Last but not least, if you are interested in using Boxcryptor, you can manage your plan here. Of course, if you need a quote from us, or if you need assistance setting up Boxcryptor or starting with a Boxcryptor license, please send us an email after the webinar. After, hopefully on Friday, I will send you a record of this webinar, and I would like to say thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you could learn something about Boxcryptor, and thanks, guys.